catches the lead. MTA from Kelvin Safety Song. Down the outside, Dom to shoot, but MTA lands the front.
Is well clear of Beware. Juliana's running on when it's all over. And Exactamonde go to woe. Exactamonde is charging home at the end, but Cuba's got a big lead from Criaderis, and Cuba's going to lead all the way. Cuba beat Criaderis by a length and a half. Parody running on, Sovereign Award with 100 to go, getting weary. I Am Eloquent and Parody coming at it, but they won't get it. Sovereign Award won.
Very good.
Please be advised, the following presentation may offend or upset some viewers, breeders, corporate bookies, stewards, racing participants, jockeys, trainers, racing media, and hopefully non-bettors. Nothing on the show should be taken seriously other than the betting advice provided. This message was approved by mailbag.com.au. By viewing this show, you lose all rights to complain and or sue. Please enjoy the show. Rob Scurry, welcome to Live. It's great to have you on board. It's been like forever. You've been part of the team for longer than I have, and we haven't had you on the live show yet. So welcome.
Well, we're only on about week 5, but, you know, it's great to be on. Thanks.
Okay, so we've got heaps to talk about. We've got Sydney form. We'll get into the US election a little bit later on.
Oh, yes.
Talk to us about Sydney form, because how dominant is Sydney form going to be over the next week?
I expect them to win about, I don't know, 30 to 40% of the races. When I guess they're probably about 25% of the fields. So it's just got to pick the eyes out of it. And hopefully, you know, there's a lot of black type around. So there'll be, you know, you got to just not the afterthought races. You got to look at, try and find the ones who are targeting, you know. Paul Perry usually has a winner in the week.
Yeah.
Fastnet Rock or whatever. There's there'll be angles. I haven't looked too closely. The only thing I can see on Saturday is is Miraval in the Wakeful. $10. That should be each way all day till it hurts. I can talk to you about the Coolmore Stakes if we're covering that race. Not sure if we are.
Yeah, we will be later on. We're going to be previewing the Victoria Derby, the Coolmore, the Cantala, and the Hotham. So Dicko will get ready for that and just get himself zoned in for a little bit later on. Talk to us about Miraval, because I looked at that race and that was the horse that jumped off the page to me as well. Just tell us about type, why you like her.
It is a good type in the Arrowfield colours. I think it's just warming up to its right distance. It's got plenty of condition on it. Parade's relaxed well. I just think it's just hasn't been suited at the set weights against the good fillies over the shorter trips. And, you know, now he'll be up set weights against, you know, basically maidens and class 1s, you know, like maybe half the field. There might be something in the race that might be half decent, but if it's anything like the Derby, it'll be pretty thin, and you know it should show its class.
Yeah, are you surprised that there's not there's not any of the fillies going for the Derby this year?
Yeah, well, you know, you'd have to think David Payne's filly would be every chance. Montefilia. Who else have we got in the 3-year-old? Who won the Flight Stakes? Oh, Hungry Heart. Well, that was a myth. Said that, yeah. Dame Giselle, Marley Girl from that race. I think she's freshening up for something. What other fillies we got? Look, I was a big rap for the colt, the grey colt of Richard Friedman's Love Tap.
Love Tappy.
Yeah, tips of subscribers in him for the Derby. But, you know, on reflection, you know, too good Waterhouse. You know, he was worked it out as a lay. It was a 2,000 metre on a 6-metre rail, and it was literally turning. You had from barrier 14. It was literally turning from the moment it stepped out of the gate. So just that working and turning, and then, you know, too good. You know, I don't look at things that deeply. You know, I just do it from the yard. So well, it looks like a pretty average crop of 3-year-old middle distance horses, and you know, when the autumn comes around, I'll be looking to back him in everything. Rosehill Guineas, whatever, Randwick Guineas. He's the one.
Yep. Is there one race that you typically gravitate towards during Cup Week more than any of the others?
I always think I should be winning on the Maya Classic. Back to you know, Arnie Mary back in 92, 93 at a big price, ex Albury horse, number 1. That was Simon Marshall. So yeah, that's a race. The same race has got a tragic tale. Miss Margaret 96, Danny Brereton hit the front 300 out, skipped 2 clear, just got run down, and about $6, and then wins the Cantala a week later at 15s, and I'm not on. I'm down the beach with the old man. A big crack of it. So yeah, I'd say the Maya. The McKinnon seems to be a bit of a 3-year-old race. It seems to throw up a few curveballs every year, so you got to be a bit careful about that one. Harada Sun. I used to like the sprint down the straight as well. The kind of crappy one used to be called I can't remember. It's some alcoholic drink. Then it was like the Schweppes. And then I can think of a few winners, but yeah, that's a race. And the whole week, I love the whole week. I could find a winner or two in most of those races that brings me great joy. Derby is usually a pretty thin race. Efficient was not the last winner I backed, but I usually back the Sydney horses. Glenn Schofield only a couple of years ago with Prized Icon. That had to have something on him. I don't know. Yeah, I love the whole week. I kind of yearn for Melbourne being an ex-Victorian every time the carnival rolls around.
Yeah, you say that this week. As a ex-New South Welshman, I yearn for Sydney. Freedom.
Okay. Yeah. Well, yeah.
Out of a schooner. A bit under the weather today. It's reminding me of my youth. When you be like crook and you get on the antibiotics.
Yeah.
And you skip training and you'd like get on them on like Tuesday or Wednesday. And there's hope like Thursday you come good, but you haven't. And then Friday you hope you come good, but you haven't. But you still head off to like the Oatley pub for a big session. Back in again. Imagine that. Imagine that, like a pub with a schooner.
More to life than drinking piss, I reckon.
Nothing better than drinking piss. Speaking of, Scurry, you're obviously the wine expert at the Mailbag and of all racing Twitter, surely.
I've done my time in the game for sure. I've tried some of the best. What do you want to know? Shoot.
Give us a few tips as to we get starting into summer. Some of us slightly warmer than others. And
look at him. He's been there for 4 minutes.
But we're getting to that time of year. What are we drinking this summer?
Oh, people are just going mad for rosé. Years ago, I couldn't give it away. Now blokes in suits want to talk about rosé, quality rosé, which is a bit of a turn up, upside down world that we live in. One of the cheapest, probably the cheapest style to make. Is champagne for me, so it goes with everything. Or quality Aussie sparkling. Either way, I'm happy enough with that. I'm really into the sort of. I'm always looking for value, not just on the punt, but on wine. And I find that a lot of the South Australian Southern Rhone blends, like the GSMs and those sort of things, are getting more medium-bodied, more complex. And who needs Pinot when you've got these sorts of wines around at the sort of $20 to $25? So that's a lot of the sort of stuff I'm drinking. And I think, that's where the value's at. I sell more Chardonnay than any other white wine. A lot of people think it's no good, but it is the king of white. And if you don't think so, you're a Philistine. So moving on.
Good question from Mark Punter, Pete, about how do you handle your bank for the next 4 days at the 4 days of the carnival? Kels, you want to start there?
Your bank never ends, doesn't it? Like it's not. I mean, I guess if you've got a bank set aside purely for the 4 days of the carnival, I would bet that more aggressively than I would be betting if I've got a long-term bank, which is what I use day to day anyway. So I'm not going to start firing off units just because it's Cup week and, just because it's Melbourne Cup and everyone wants to back the winner of that. I mean, it's just like, that's pointless. Like, I didn't even bet in the Cox Plate.
Yeah, but I dented the bank a bit at Cranbourne today, but for the person watching the show at home, who just is a hobby punter, which is how everyone starts, what do they do this week? They got 1,000. They got 1,000 of burn. They put it away for the last 3 weeks.
400 on Cup Day. 400 on Cup. 400 on Derby Day.
Yeah, yep. I'd have 400 Derby Day, 400 Stakes Day, and just have 200 to nibble away on Cup Day and Oaks Day. They're lean, tricky meetings. Oaks Day particularly, it's just a lot of fill.
Oh fuck yeah! It's like two or three races.
I'd probably spend it on alcohol, women, and waste the rest. Is it? I don't know. Like, it's hard to say. Like, if you're going to that extent, you just like you say, you just split it up over the days that you like and leave some powder to blast out on the last day of the carnival, don't you? Powder, as in money.
Yeah. I got the double entendre.
Oh.
If it was me personally running a punters club, like, and I had to bet like that, I'd bet a lot on the Saturday because you either got your iron or you don't. And I'd rather just get my ass belted once than drag out that punishment for a week. I'd rather just lose it and get on with it. Get into those tents. Imagine if you could, like, if people go back to the races, you know, bit of hospitality.
Mm-hmm.
I'd be looking to like try and launch 30 to 40% of it, of whatever you had on Derby Day. And I agree, like, you'd have more allocated to Derby Day. I'd try and bet 30 to 40% of that on one race. Maybe even 50% where you just like, I'm really dead set keen here. This horse just ticks all the boxes. I'm getting a decent enough price. I'm just going to massively crack it. That's all I've got.
One thing I'll say about Cup Day, you get a lot of mug money in the pools as well. So, playing the multiples, the trifectas, that sort of thing. Don't discount that. And even Derby Day, there's extra turnover in there that you should. There is recreational money. Let's say that, to use the Lambourne phrase.
Interesting question from Hazza Pollock. You'd have to ask Barker that. Hazza, he'd be the expert in that sort of area.
City Index.
I like that. That's probably the other big event.
And in Derby Day, the extras.
How good's this? So you've got Cup Day. I'm sure there'll be plenty of people just going out and getting belted on Cup Day. And then what do we get to wake up to on the Wednesday, just as it's unfolding?
Kyneton?
Oh,
no, US election.
Yeah.
In there.
I think it's Kyneton, Peter. It's normally Kyneton on that Wednesday.
This is a turning point of my mental fucking career, my mental health. This election. Are we talking about the election? No.
Yeah. We're not talking about fucking Kyneton on a Derby Day.
Fuck Kyneton.
Fuck that joint. Election, Curls, talk. What have you backed so far?
So I've had a mental health bet, right? So I'm fucking addicted to watching these Trump videos, right? It's fucking consuming my life at the minute. In between, so when I take a study break, I just can't help but pick up the phone and just fucking look at Trump's tweets. Now, this whole thing of trying to discredit Hunter Biden and his son, and this push from Fox News to come up with, this big story about the corruption of the Bidens. I'm not sure whether anyone follows this. I'm not sure anyone gives a fuck. But Tucker Carlson, who's within the ranks of US political coverage, is like a respected fucking news anchor type operator on Fox News, saying we had these documents. This was the smoking gun document. I was in LA interviewing Hunter Biden's business partner. My executive producers received the documents. They put them in the post to send to me in LA. And these were the smoking gun documents to prove the Biden's corruption. They've gone missing in the post.
So did you start backing Trump off that mail, and now you've
a legit fucking video, a legit like that was his news presentation of his show on Fox.
What about his laptop in Delaware that he's left there on after a crack bender?
The whole thing completely does my head in. It's that corrupt. The lies that are being told, it just like does my little pea brain in.
Yep.
Dead set. And people are buying this, right? So he's making out like, we didn't take any copies. the postage people, the courier company is investigated top to bottom, all ties into Trump's narrative of the mail ballots are corrupt, vote in person because he's going to go to the fucking, he's going to take this to the Supreme Court if he loses by a small margin, right? 100%. This is going to go to the Supreme Court. So if America votes Trump into power for a second term,
I wasn't in a good mood when I come on here. I've been
right?
tired.
Honestly, if they re-elect Trump for a second term, I hope fucking COVID mutates into a zombie apocalypse. They eat each other's fucking brains and hearts, and then we can just nuke the joint and get on with our life. But I'll be collecting on it though, because to offset that mental health fucking issue that I have about these people buying this Trump story, I have backed Trump.
$3. Why wouldn't you?
I've backed Trump, right? Because I had to work out what the dollar amount is that I'm prepared to lose on Biden getting beat to like balance out my mental instability about Trump being re-elected. I'm somewhere around about $1,697 in the red if Biden wins. Right now, I'm comfortable to cop that loss. I'll pick up about 3,000 if Trump wins, about 6,000 if hopefully they all die of COVID and Kamala Harris is the last woman standing, and 5,000 if Trump dies from COVID and Mike Pence.
That's not millions because they are extremely old.
It is that US presidential election is a bigger circus than this live fucking show.
I can't believe
you
spend your days betting on North Queensland and watching those rides, and then chill out. You consume a bit of Fox News.
I'm legitimately crook, and I'm not a seething Biden supporter.
Yeah, you can't be.
It's the lesser of two evils. Is all I'm looking at there.
You've seen all the kitty sniffing though he does.
Right, we're live, mate.
Anyway, it's all entertaining. It's all.
And then there's a couple of guys on Twitter that I once respected as good judges. No, I'm kidding. So I'd never respect anyone as a good judge. No, I take all that back. That was clearly a joke, right? But like even the debate that it drives on Twitter, fuck, it's entertaining. People talking about polls and Trump's price and the polls are wrong and this and that and the others and the narrative around it. Like, while it completely grays me up just watching it, there's part of me that just doesn't want this to end. I hope it's a draw and I hope they go to the Supreme Court and I hope it's a civil war and just keep the show going.
Massive outsider last election.
He was.
I still remember it. And like ScoMo, the God botherer, non-drinker, Shark supporter, he was a massive outsider. It was around the day that Darcy was born. So I was in the hospital, bored shitless. I was just...
This show doesn't go for long enough to cover my thoughts on the Australian political landscape.
Maybe that could be our next go when we're tired of like all the politics in racing. We could go just talk about actual politics.
I'm going to stop talking now and like I'm greening up if Trump wins, and I'm happy to lose if Biden wins. That's where I'm at.
I responded to a Biden tweet at like 5 a.m. yesterday. Just random. The platitudes. It's all I said. Free Assange.
It's the best.
Do something. They just argue over sort of non-issues and just keep the same war machine going. Whoever's in power.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Righto.
Probably enough on that.
That's enough from me.
All right. Well, shall we start looking at some races? I was pretty happy to you guys bang on about politics, but I think it's funny because
if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
Yeah, basically. All right.
One big shit sandwich.
Yeah, exactly. All right. The big one, the Group 1 Victoria Derby, Flemington Race 7 for Jack Dickens' benefit. Race 7, Dicko. 2,500. Here comes the market. Then the speed map will go up afterwards.
I need to see. The speed map's not here on mine.
Yep, that's all right. It will be up on the screen. There's the market there. So currently we've got Young Werther at the head of the market, $4. Cherry Tortoni, $4.40. Hit the Shot and Alvarado are in single figures as well. I mean, we really probably just have to talk about this couple. But Rob, you would have seen Cherry Tortoni up there of late. What did you think of that horse as a type?
Yeah, I saw him. I actually lost on him. He was like the slight win along with Love Tap when Montefilia cleaned them up. Classic kind of old school stayer, rangy bugger. Looks like a Kiwi horse. So it's kind of long and lean, and it looked pretty close to top then. I'm not sure, I'm liking Dicko's bet here. I think, backing off a tough run at Moonee Valley on that wet track, probably run a hole, but I don't know about its preparation for the Derby.
Yeah. Dickens, what are you thinking? So Young Werther's obviously missed the run. You've been bullish on it for a while.
I think you need to be careful with the narrative there, because that's not the truth. They chose not to run. He didn't want to run. I don't think he wanted to run ever, O'Brien.
Was he scratched on the day though, or the day before?
On the day when it got a bit heavier, and I'm interested to hear what Curly thinks, and then just also fascinated to see what the market does right till they jump here. Because on Saturday, just gone, Young Werther was like $2, $1.90 or something versus Cherry Tortoni, $6. A lot of betting done, and that's what the market was. Now, despite being in an elite camp, a proper camp, who's done this before in the same silks last year, SA Derby, they're giving you $4 versus $4.40. What do you think, Curls? Just off that.
This is the bet of the week.
Which?
Your man.
Well, stay calm. Like, that's not.
Young Werther, I think, is possibly immoral.
Oh, you can't say that, mate. You can't.
Well, it's a thin race, Dicko. It's a very thin race. How many chances are there?
None of these horses are stayers, right?
Yeah. I look. Here's
Danny. You have a look at Danny O'Brien's record, and this is what gives. This is the difference. Okay, this is not old mate from Kerrang producing a stayer third up at 2,500. Right. Yeah. This is a proper trainer that has produced Group 1 winners at this trip off light preparations multiple times. Like, what was Vow and Declare's prep?
Yeah.
Didn't it go to Queensland, win a race, and then
Caulfield Cup?
It went like Mackay Diva or something. Caulfield Cup, Melbourne Cup.
Yeah. This horse follows the same profile as Russian Camelot.
Yeah, and everyone was worried about like its prep and even this prep this year. Like, he knows what he's doing. Russian Camelot run enormous in the Cox Plate, beaten by 2 foreigners. There's no foreigners here. I think of the race, Hit the Shot is the one that scares me the most. So I'm on to win an enormous amount, like life change, not the biggest collect of my life if Young Werther wins. I think it'll start shorter than $4. I think it'll start closer to sort of 280, 290.
I think it's sub 3. I think it is on the fixed, maybe 330 the fair, something like that. It's
drawn fucking ideal. It's got the grouse gear change, which it needs. It was a better run than Kokoho. I can't say the Quay. And Quay was as good a run as Cherry Tortoni last week. It's got the SP before being scratched over Cherry Tortoni big time. This is a bit of an afterthought for Cherry Tortoni. This is just peak performance for this horse. It's got barrier 4. And also I've got Damien Oliver on my team versus Billy Egan from barrier 14. Get fucked.
And that 2,500 is a tricky turn for barrier 14 too. Good barrier is important in the Derby.
I know, and like it's people think staying races it doesn't matter as much. If he goes back to last and Ollie's like 3 pairs back, 1 off, asleep, he's still got to make up 4 or 5 lengths to get to him on the corner. I think our Brado will run well. Hit the shot is the one that scares me the most.
I'll tell you what horse caught my eye at Moonee Valley was Let's Caracadillo.
Yeah, that's the one I was just going to mention. I'm convinced. I'm convinced they'll be positive, and for a large portion of the straight, I'll be shitting my pants because they'll be running an okay race. Just if it gets
that horse
very good at Caulfield.
That horse fucking had no idea what it was doing. It was nowhere near topped out. Like it sort of, Johnny Allen sort of balanced it and then was headed, then hit it. Was able to get to it with the stick, and it found. With clear air and a bunny from the 350, I think that horse has got something left.
Yeah,
and we'll be strong at 2,500 based off that. It wasn't one of those flashing light, get back, get to the outside, run home. Oh, it looks like 2,500 will suit. He was up on the, he was up closer to the speed, and he was, I thought he's nowhere near its top, and I think it's a danger.
And I think also with Terry Tortoni, as good as it was last week, like he wasn't even convinced he'd go to the Derby. Now he's on the quick backup, up in trip. I don't love it.
No.
And whilst Young Werther's only had a couple of starts, he's 1.3 lengths off Cherry Tortoni and Gaswayo, number 7, however you pronounce that one, who have the peak figures in this race. So they've raced a lot more. They've only achieved 1.3 lengths better than Young Werther, and he's only had the 2 starts.
Dicko, how are you going to handle it? Are you going to have a few bets on a few? Are you going to be having something on Cherry Tortoni?
No, the only way I'm just probably going to let it ride. Might back hit the shot. I might back Let's Crack a Deal. But
what about some?
I think it starts like south of 3 and could really go off.
What about some in-play lays set up for your horse, just in case it hits $1.05 and you don't lay off? You got to do that. It goes neck and neck to the line. You get done the photo and you're left with a ticket and a story. Surely you'll be covering.
Well, unfortunately, we're 5 seconds behind the live feed, the fast feeds out there. So I can't. If I was on track, I'd have a stack in there, like in the straight, which I'd get out and then just roar at home and just bash Ross. Just get Ross under the arm. Sausage rolls and let's go. We're going home, but
sausage rolls.
I'll put a couple in. Definitely, I'll put some in play real low. But if it lost in a photo, the Mountie Mail will be provided by someone else for the rest of the week.
I think it's the best staying horse in the race, and it's the horse to beat. And you're on at a grouse price, and you let it ride.
I think like if I took the bet in the morning and it went off like that, you wouldn't trade it out. It's the same thing.
Yep.
It's just big consequences.
Yeah, exactly. That's the difference, though, dude. That's the difference. I'd be having a few wagers on.
Well, the good thing is we've had a good couple of weeks, so there's a fair bit in the Betfair account. So
I don't think there's anything like hidden away either in this race, is there? I can't see.
Yeah.
I've looked for a sneaky angle or a horse that's been hidden, and
there's not even any Sydney B or C graders coming down. There's nothing. You don't even have any Sydney horses.
Yes, well, I'm 5, 4, and 6 for the record anyway, and I've bet up on Young Werther because I think it starts a lot shorter, and I'll be able to snack on the SP if it does go over. Fucking.
Yeah, there's a lot of questions rolling in, Peter. I can't keep up with them.
Let me clear my throat.
It's all right. I can't read.
What were you doing for Oliver Slaughters it? Good question.
Cry.
Okay.
Have a mental breakdown. Have a break from the game for probably till Tuesday. Walk to the shops via the train station, but then get like probably 1 or 2 packs of darts, something straight or alcohol wise, and get into them. It's all catered down here.
I think we've covered the other questions. Where do you want it to lob in run?
3 back, 1 off, asleep.
Fair.
Happy with it on the fence, but I prefer one off.
Yeah. What price you got? Tell us the price you got. Someone wants to know. It's as biggest collect you've ever had, so it's
big.
Big.
It's also in a lot of all ups. Like we backed old Kirk into it. We backed
that's right.
We backed It's Me to win the smaller Aussie mountain race. What's that one called? The
Kosciuszko.
one? No, yeah, the Kosciuszko. Yeah, that's big.
That's fair.
Surely enough on the Derby. Jesus.
Yeah, exactly. Let's move on to the stud stakes. 1,200 meters down the Flemington Straight. Race 6. Market will go up, then the speed map. Rob, you had something to you wanted to throw out about the Coolmore. Here you go.
It's Wild Rulers in the race, isn't it?
Yep.
Wild Ruler. You got Farnan. You got Mamaragan. You would have seen Doutland, obviously, and times.
Fuck yeah! So all good horses, but a few of them with funny preps. The only one with the prep that makes sense to me is Wild Ruler. First up, I was a bit stiff. I was stiff with Destination. Huey on Destination. Wild Ruler looked a bit. He looked a bit sweaty and a bit. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is he improved a heap first to second up run. And if he does that again, I think he's the best of the Sydney horses. The best prep. I think Anders is the best, but I don't trust what's happened with that horse to let up the run against Ranting. If he was right, he beats those Melbourne horses easily. We saw what he did in the San Domenico, and he didn't look anywhere near that to me. I'm not sure what the figures will say against Ranting and all that, but I don't think he was up for the San Domenico, and here we are 3 months later, and his prep's wonky. Mamaragan, they don't know if it's a miler or a sprinter still. It is a quality horse, but they still haven't. I don't know about its preparation. And Doutland's a wetty, so if there's in Sydney form, it's the Snowden horse, and if it parades relaxed and strong, it'll have my money.
The maximum amount of rain they're predicting is 4 mil up until until they run this race. So it's not going to be worse than a good 4, I don't think. So I think that does put a chink in Doutland's sort of case here, but it does have one. I think September Run will start favourite, and a dominant favourite.
Jesus, that's like a weak horse. Like it's not the best filly that we've seen in Sydney.
A bunch of you guys asking about Farnan. I don't know, and I'll be fascinated to see what the market does. If the market gives it a big sort of tick, then I'll be scared of it. But I think it'll go the other way. It's going to get
synthetic hoof filler again.
Yeah, I hate the preparation. It probably is better than him off its 2-year-old career, but it's not there now. It's here. I think the market will come for September Run, who's going to get a beautiful run with Ranting, who's a good price. But I think the bet each way when we're managing your bank over 4 days at the Flemington Carnival is number 13, Muntasira. Muntasira's got every person in Australia and the world, even on CityBet, it was commission-free day, I think, on Betfair that day, wanted to be on Muntasira to roll Swats That at Caulfield. And they both went fucking enormous. Huge. Now, you're getting double the price of Swats That here because it beat it. It's wrong. Muntasira is a bet.
Don't dislike it.
It's got Sydney form. You can tie it through Sydney. You can tie it through everywhere. It beat Valaquenta. Valaquenta was at Moonee Valley on Saturday. Couldn't win the way the track played. That sort of distance race. It hemorrhaged at Caulfield and was a very, very big run. Through the line, strong as hell. The faster they go, the better its chances. Drawing 6, it can be wherever he wants.
Always been one of yours, mate. Muntasira.
It's like a lot of these horses are like one of mine, sort of, but you give me $26 about this one compared to sort of 17 Ranting or something like that. I just think this is a much better play.
I want to bet because September Run's in the race. This favourite's so short.
I think it'll go on start favourite.
Never thought it'd be the Coolmore Stud Stakes, favourite.
Well,
It's no sunlight.
2 from 2 down the Flemington Straight. It is up in trip, but it gets through the line like it wants to be up in trip. It's only another 100 metres, and it's run an elite figure last start. This track.
Okay, well, you and your figures, fair enough.
Well, that's what they'll see, and that's what they'll do.
Yeah, all right.
What
I want to be on
you-
the Wild Ruler.
Fair
I said that.
What would you say about Doubtland? What was it?
I prefer it in like a soft 6. Like if it rained a bit, I'd probably back it for sure. If it rained a little bit, I'd sort of stagger my bets. Ranting, Doubtland, and Montesiro. Just it's relatively small investment to win a fair bit, but I think it's going to be a good 4. I think Montesiro's got that dynamic turn of foot. That stable's fucking airborne. Fascinated to see what they do with Glenfiddich. Like if it wins, PJ Moody will just have some real sort of swag about him, wouldn't he? It was aimed at a Guineas like a month ago.
Be a huge effort, huge training effort.
Same flying award.
Look hundreds to me, but anyway.
I also think Doubtland drawn 1.
Negative.
Yep. I did back it against Wild Ruler last start, but yeah, that was a mistake. Wild Ruler really improved, but it's just the odds sucked me into Doubtland. He's a wetty. Barrier 1, no good. 50s.
And we're all just penning Farnan, right? Anyone think Farnan is a bet?
No.
I'd be happy to pen Farnan and Anders.
As Pollard says,
Yes, look at this.
Farnan's a baked rabbit.
William Lawson will run down the Flemington Straight nude if Wild Ruler wins. So there's a positive. We'll snag, run down the. Is that while they're racing?
No, that'll get you in big trouble. We don't endorse that, Dicko. Get you a trespassing and kicked off course for life. That sort of business.
All right.
Rob, you saw Wild Ruler last start. Anything in the tank?
Yeah, yeah. Well, like I thought he was first up. I think I said this already, but I said he was under. He looked too forward to me, too sweaty, too anxious, and then second up he was relaxed and stronger. So yeah, I think he improved a heap from his first to his second run, and he's the only horse with the Sydney prep that I trust and think it's on the up. Whereas the other ones are all afterthoughty kind of stallion making race. Let's try and come on, please. The horse is worth 20 million. Nah, probably not.
Any questions?
Now let's kick on into the Cantala race 8.
Race 8.
Over the mile. And the marker will come up first. Then the speed map. Current favourite is Mr. Quickie. So let's start with the favourite, shall we? It's won at, $26 or so at Caulfield last start.
Western run.
Yep.
Great ride.
Yep.
Unders.
Yep.
Big unders here.
We're going to go horse by horse.
No. We're not going horse by horse. Would be here for fucking ever. And half of these surely have none.
Now, let's just keep it quick then. I like 50 stars. I prefer it feels a bit wetter. I hate the barrier. I think you get a bigger price come race day. It'll keep drifting. You might get like 15s, 16s. Just have a small bit of it each way. It's ready to win. It'll fly. I can't believe that they're punching on here with King's Legacy. Fascinating.
Yeah,
this is the horse that had the throat issue that they then got the wide out and changed it because it's a stallion. Hashtag breeders, and now it's running again just to prove a point. I love it. I'd piss myself if it run last, and then it is no issue. Vetted, no abnormalities.
Schadenfreude. Oh, come on. It's all
It'll
right.
probably come out and win now, but yeah, anyway.
Rob, what do you think of King's Legacy? Because I've always been against it. Like even when it was winning, I was against it.
Yeah, I said it was the worst Group 1 winner of the season when it won those cheap. They should be downgraded. Those Champagne and the other one. terrible
They
races.
run awful figures in those races. They're weak figures.
Yeah.
Sydney form, but they're slow Sydney form.
It's totally.
Peak figure of 7.4. Like Mr. Cookie's run at 15.9.
Mamaragan should have won one of those races. It was just unsuited one day. He should have beaten King's Legacy, and it's 100 to 1 down the straight.
Yeah.
But yeah, he improved a fair bit from his first to his second run. He was absolutely no chance against Anders that day on looks. But I didn't see him in Melbourne, so I don't know how he's come on. But the run looked pretty disappointing. But definitely didn't have a throat roaring issue. Definitely didn't have that.
Tell me why I'm wrong here, and tell me that Cascadian finally gets to Flemington, which is like the most unsuitable horse for Caulfield you've ever seen.
Yeah,
I don't care about the gate because it's a capacity field and it's Flemington Mile and you can win from anywhere.
Yeah,
Ollie's stuck all the way through.
He has no he doesn't have to do anything. He could have got off if he wanted to. Surely, yeah, that's fair. I thought there was it's a pretty simple way to bet here. This race is chaos. The map is a mess. If it's on pace suited, then I think Buffalo River would be really hard to beat. But I don't think it will be on Saturday. I think it'll be really even. There's enough horses to go up there and diggeroz it to make it a good, honest race. I think you can have something on number 6, Best of Days, who was just too bad to be true last start, but really well backed. I agree with Curl's Cascadian, $21, have something on. I think 50 stars will get out to that sort of $17 mark come the jump, have something good on it. And the other horse that I think is definitely a bet, and it's a huge fucking price, is number 17, Reykjavik. It's fucking airborne, this thing. Guest of Flemington.
Uncle Lindsay.
A little bit like the Cascadian sort of narrative here.
Does it get a run?
Flemington.
Does it get a run?
It's been savaging the line, Charlie Sheen style.
Yeah, Sheen style. These are no, actually we're live.
Anyhow.
If it gets a bit more rain, that horse is going to start a lot shorter. If there's a decent amount of rain, Reykjavik, I think it's the one. It hasn't put a foot wrong all campaign.
What about the Velvet King, Peter? Wasn't that going to like the Manicato or something?
Yeah, if it ran really well, I think I've always had a knock on him, even when he was in Perth. I didn't think he was as good as what the wins and losses necessarily said. You know, you often get those horses that win, but they're only winning moderate to slowly run races. And
yeah, but if they say that we're going to go race at Moonee Valley over 1,200 metres, and now a week later we're over 600 metres, what the?
Well, he's not a 1,200 metre horse. He's 14 to 16, and probably he's a 1,400 metre specialist if you go through his stats. But yeah, better suited in this than a 1,200 metre race.
Is he that grey?
No.
What am I thinking of that ran it in the Manicato that ran second a year or so ago from WA? Vital Silver. That's it.
Should have won that day. And now Pete backs it on fucking that Belmont and doesn't win. Like, how does a horse almost win at Moonee Valley? Yeah, anyway. Chief On's going well. Alistair's going really well.
Oh, yeah. I was going to ask you about Chief Ironside, but you've answered that.
Why is Reykjavik $50 to $1?
Well, it's not in the field yet.
Okay, that's why.
It probably would appreciate some rain, but I reckon it runs a race if it gets in.
It looks
good.
Yes. What about your old mate, Age of Chivalry? Dicko.
Imagine that. Board, gate 19.
Pass.
Perfect spot. Just keep
I feel like if we don't back it, it'll just like ping, lob the 1-1, peel, and look the winner. And if we back it, it'll like ping, snick, 4 wide cast, push forward, find the fence, big wave, like the rip, like he'll cause the rip, and they'll.
Yeah, it'll be the first one giving something a nice toe into it.
Can't have it.
All right, good. Let's go to the last race we'll preview in depth, the Hotham. Race 4, 2,500 metre race. It's only a Group 3, but we all know the winner gets the narrative passage into the Melbourne Cup.
Welcome back to RSN Central.
No, that wasn't Gareth. It was meant to be Jason Richardson.
No, that was Gareth. That was your Gareth voice.
Now, Gareth's a little bit more, you got to go up a little.
Youthful, little bit of energy.
Yeah.
It was good to listen to the rugby league. Everyone was bagging Rabs. Everyone was bagging Gus. That was the first time all of the season I got to listen to, because I normally consume my footy on KO. Had to get on the 9 app, and I got Rabs, the Golden Tonsils. It was outstanding. Better than the AFL, which makes it almost impossible to stream their grand final. He's stupid, arrogant, dumb.
Speaking of outstanding, I'm not sure whether this is I've misinterpreted this, but I'm pretty sure I read that SEN have picked up the State of Origin game to broadcast a Maroons channel, if you're a Queensland supporter, which will be Biased Queensland, and a separate New South Wales channel.
Yeah, he's making good moves up in Sydney.
Beat the Bias. Very smart. Fuck, that's genius. But I digress. From the best bet of the day, I've digressed.
Oh.
Maybe of the week.
All right. So Ashran, Shabao, Admire, Robson, Future Score, Sound are all in single figures. Rocks, Rob comes down. It's $10.
Is anyone not tipping the same thing here?
I've bet. I don't tip. I fucking bet. Already bet.
I think for those watching, this is a outstanding Derby Day double. Back number 11, Admire Robson here into Young Werther to win the Derby. I think this thing's going to get run a race. Admire Robson looks like it's ready to really peak. Sort of given none last two. I think from 4 it shows good intent. The rest of these are numbers. Shabao's had every possible. Sound will go really close because I was on it last week and I'm going to get off here. It'll run a really good race. And Future Score probably runs well, but from barrier 10, I'm happy to risk. I'm happy to risk Ash Run at the price. And I just think Admire Robson's a great bet. And I think Curl's maybe even keener than I am.
I'm far from the Melbourne expert, but I was sort of.
Well, we did this race together today on like our mailbag, continual improvement training courses we give each other.
I don't know what you do with Ash Run, but I think I'm not a weights and measures man, but I think there's some relevance in the 5 kilo difference. Admire Robson to Ash Run. I think Brim and Rocks is, it's not. Does it ever win? I don't know.
No, it doesn't ever win. It runs second.
Exactly what you said, Jack. A lot of these are just making up the numbers. There's legitimately 2 or 3 good winning hopes, and maybe a couple of rough chances at absolute best. But the more you look at it, the more this Admire Robson is just progressed beautifully, and this has just got a perfect sense of timing. Set. I know they're all trying to get into the Melbourne Cup, whatever, but this just gets here on a almost fresher legs and from a camp that can get them into a Melbourne Cup and can train a stayer. And it should have won last start. I'm fucking certain of that. I'm sure.
Yeah. What were we on at? Like
$15, $16 maybe. SP to around 9 or 10.
So, but to be fair, I think Sound should have won last week at the Valley too. So yeah. It's the one that would make sense if it won. But when I say the rest of the numbers, they're all capable of winning. But there's just nothing that in their profile, apart from Future Score, that yells out to me like, I'm ready, I deserve to get your financial backing. They're all just bob up and down.
God, Brigham Rocks bobbed up and down the last 150 last week. My God.
It'll get a good run, though.
Complete slug. Shabao, Pike to Zara. Positive, negative, indifferent.
Oh, Peter, fuck, mate. You've been back there for 2 minutes. What do you reckon that is? What do you reckon?
West is best to West is best.
Oh, here we go.
Doesn't really matter, does it?
Well, he does have a good record on Shabao. I remember we backed him around New Year's Day or something with Zara on. But that's the kind of bloody Rain Man memory I've got.
Yeah, I do remember that. It won well.
Yeah,
it was around a holiday time because I wasn't at the races.
Yeah, like New Year's Day.
It's a huge switch, but that horse has had a lot of opportunities to win.
Strikes me as a Flemington horse, that horse.
Admire Robson hasn't had any opportunities to win yet, and I think from barrier 4 with this much of a reward, it's going to get that opportunity on Saturday. And at that price, I really want to be on it and find out with it.
Okay, so are we just saying that Asheron, it's not a lay, it's just not a bet? Because it is trained by Andreas Voller, who's one of the best trainers in the world, and it does get the glue on shoes off, and it does get gate 2, and it does get Karen McAvoy, and it should just lob in the perfect spot. And regardless of tempo, it should, well, will definitely get 2,500.
No, I don't think it's a positive jockey switch at all.
Brush your teeth, then I'll come and say goodnight.
Yeah, don't disagree. It's all those points. The glue on shoes off is obviously an eye-catching gear change, isn't it? Which would be a tick on my sheets.
I suppose what Curly and I talked about this today, if that horse had a different set of silks and was an Australian thing that wasn't imported, and you saw the run, everything was the same at Geelong, it'd be $17 here.
Yeah, but it also would have had more
because it's
starts.
imported, it's a bet.
Yeah.
Remember what Protectionist did at Caulfield and then won the Melbourne Cup, same trainer, very thin.
I thought this horse was pretty plain at Geelong.
Bloody oath, it was bloody plain.
But
They can be a class above.
And it might be a good stayer, but this has every possibility of not being a real staying test. We're just hoping Hush Rider just bolts along and makes it like a really honest test.
Some sort of chance that'll happen, mate. It runs.
It's favourite to go quite slow. Craig Williams is not going to overcook it. If you're betting on Craig, how fast he's going to go slower than fast, in my opinion. If he's leading a race,
if it can even find any resemblance of speed.
Need Stevie Baxter on for Gay.
Yeah.
Bring him back.
If Stevie Baxter was on, I think the race is going to go a lot faster than I think it's going to go on Saturday.
Yeah.
But it's Mark Zahra and Craig Williams. They're not going to go, oh, yeah, I'll run honest tempo here. They're going to try and go as slow as they can. And hopefully, Bossy's just sitting there just hopefully he stands up when he wins this one.
Look, the Sydney horse that might be overs, I reckon, is Attorney. I think it's been getting better this prep, so you could run a hole. But anyway, gents, I've got to bust it and put these kids to bed, so it's been fun.
Yeah.
Cheers to you, Rob Scurry.
Cheers, guys. Enjoy.
Well.
Bye.
All right. Well, that sums up the Hotham anyway. We'll go to quickly around the grounds. Curly Country, Queensland. What's happening?
Because there's a couple of good races in Melbourne, Racing Queensland just jammed 12 meetings on a Saturday up here so we can all get to our local track and have a good day out. The racing is fucking terrible. The jockey ranks are thinner than my tolerance level of Trump winning in US election. It'll be fucking hard going Saturday. Because we got washed out last week, there's 10 races at Doomben as well.
Oh, yes.
I did a fuckload of work last night and this morning on Kilcoy, which I found out had been abandoned this afternoon because of the state of the track.
Yeah, that. We did some work on Kilcoy.
There has been a lot of rain in Queensland, so there won't be a lot of early action. It'll just be a matter of having a look how the tracks play because it's been so wet. But Bow Desert has a meeting on too Saturday.
Must miss.
Which will be good. So that obviously that river or that floodway around Bow Desert didn't get enough rain because they're racing at this stage.
What about the Harrovian this weekend, Kels?
Yeah, I was against it last time when it knocked me off. It'll be hard to bet against it, that's for sure. There's no real highlights. It's that race is probably the strongest race on the card. But we still get Toowoomba Saturday night. So we've got plenty of, so tab meetings are Gold Coast, Bow Desert, Toowoomba, Doomben on Saturday.
Good.
And there's a non-tab meeting at Dalby as well. which is good. Anyway, not a lot happening apart from wet tracks, Pete, so we'll just play it by ear this week, see how we go. No rorts, no stings, not even a funny. Have got a funny story.
Yeah, go
Not
on.
funny. We bought a horse.
Oh, yeah. Forgot about that. Oh, I literally completely forgot.
Yeah, so brought into a horse. It's well named. Its name is Avocado Sunset. It was ex-Aquas horse. So I've got a little bit of info on the horse, and I know on its debut run it was Shinsaw at the Sunny Coast, and it ran okay. Pulled up with sore balls as well. Like, you know, hard to run with sore balls, so it's been gelded. Had 6 weeks off. In that race, Mass Destruction won that race, and it's gone on to win a City Saturday. And every horse that beat Avocado Sunset home in that race has gone on to win as well. So it's a very deep form race. Jared Wheelo is training it at Rockhampton, so I expect it to go through its grades there. And I know a few of the mailbag crew are getting involved, so that'll be a bit of fun. And yeah, it should be all right. I reckon it'll go through its grades. That's about all I've done this week, really.
Yeah, we've all bought in. We are in no way syndicating this horse or anything like that, so don't give me another cease and desist, please, for promoting.
We just bought a share. We just bought a few small shares in it.
My show, it's our show, and I'm just saying that I bought into a horse with Curly because he told me to, and I trust him. If you feel like me, what do they do, Curly?
Well, they can send you an email if you like.
No. Don't send me anything.
They can send me an email or send me an inbox on Twitter, and I'll get the trainer to get in touch.
Gross.
Yeah.
There's not very much actually in it, though, is there, left?
No, stuff all. No.
Look at that Scurry, the big swinger. See how much he wanted?
Yeah, Scurry. Yeah, I got a heap.
Can't tell he's been winning, eh?
Yeah. Oh, it's one of the, it's just like it's a good opportunity to get into a horse that's got plenty of upside. That's sort of why I got involved. So,
Emerald Kingdom versus Red Chase, Curls.
I'm going to wait to see how wet the track is. Yeah, I really these horses missing a run. Those horses that missed a run last week because of the wet track does like grey me up a little bit. They're an extra week.
It doesn't mean you can't win. It's about pricing, isn't it?
Yeah, well, it is. Question about Olympic class. Look, I've done that race like over and over, just completely doing my head in this race at Doomben. Olympic class won a maiden with average figures in a shit race that nothing behind it could possibly ever win, and it's come up 225. I've got Magic Class a lot bigger price. I had this is race 2 Doomben we're talking here. I had Soul Dancer and Magic Conqueror shorter than their current quotes, and basically the only winning hopes off my data and punting form data. But once again, like it's been piss and rain. It's saying heavy 9. I don't know what surface we're going to be on come jump time. So just going to have to wait and watch the skies, unfortunately, until you can write a ticket.
That's fair enough. We can't force it. Pistol, what are we doing at Ascot? Are you going to be on track?
No, I'm not. Not for a couple of weeks.
Are you going to sneak anyone in?
You've got to behave yourself in the police state, that is.
Well, can you tell her to stop, get out of the YouTube channel? Trying to communicate with our community, not organise your love life. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, I'm very happily contained at the moment. What are we doing? I haven't even started the card in great detail. Just done a bit of groundwork for it. I'll try and knock out most of it tonight. If Valero wins the Prince of Wales Stakes, I'll spew up after we backed it first up and it looked for all money like it just needed more ground. And here it is, 1,000 metres once again. What do you make of, Kills, I'll throw this one to you. What do you make of Blinker's first time for a 5-year-old that's had 17 starts?
That's not good.
Yeah. I would tend to say the same.
Who trains?
Simon Miller.
So that's
Oh.
not his first rodeo, Wes Miller.
Yeah, what's the betting?
Jeez. I always, what gates he got? I always get a little bit hesitant about, these horses that have had a few starts with blinkers first time and getting a little bit stargazy and half missing away.
Gate 11 of 11.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Interesting one.
Robert Kendall, when we get to WestIsBest, thoughts, clairvoyance?
I'll be back in 2 minutes. I've got to sort out something with the kid.
Yeah. No issue with the foot. Outside of they knew that this race was available and they just wanted to give it just the week off just to try and get things as right as possible. Thoughts in the Winterbottom versus Trekking. My issue with Trekking is just the map constantly, isn't it? I mean, like Trekking going to be settling forward enough at Ascot to be posing a threat. I don't know. That's all I got, really. If Haydock comes across, he's clearly the horse that profiles as being a big danger, but there's a big question mark as to whether or not he will be able to get on the plane. There's some other good races at Ascot. We'll just take it race by race. It's getting better over there, week in, week out. Superstorm versus Windstorm. If they are not the same horse, which one are we backing? Superstorm's drawn 19 of 20 with Josh Parr on board. Josh Parr's a really interesting booking of a jock because I don't know about you, Curls, but I like him on horses that go forward, but not necessarily back markers. And he's on a dead set back marker, so he's going to need to be like as good as he possibly can be to get that horse home. But Glenn Schofield is on Windstorm from gate 8, and it's $30 plus dollars. I have to have something on Windstorm in the wet. Despite Glenn being on board, I think that Glenn's already factored into the price.
Is that this weekend?
Yeah, the screaming yellow eagle bird. Yeah. But Windstorm 30 to 1. Don't care if Glenn's on it. Gate 8, he could put it midfield. He could put it last.
Superstorm.
Who knows?
We've got to follow our money on both.
Yeah. Superstorm, I think, is going to be up against it, but you're getting a bigger price on Windstorm. You'll probably be in front of it in the run, and is proven on the wet.
That's a capacity field over the 1,500 on a wet track. That'll be fun. Alligator Blood's only $7.
Yeah. What do you think he's going to jump? Shorter or longer?
He has to start longer than $7, doesn't he?
Probably, yeah.
I think he has to.
Never start in the wet. I think there'll be plenty of people wanting to take him on from that point of view.
Yeah, I can't be. I'm not going to start talking about that trainers or runners lately. I'm not going to have a bet in the Golden Seagull just because it's a $1,550 million race. I won't be betting at all.
Yeah, it's pretty skinny outside of that. I mean,
I'll be back on Windstorm, maybe Superstorm. They owe me money.
Yeah.
He just gave him a little bit of a push, Curls. That's pretty easy work there.
But Colette was double this price last week, and now all of a sudden it's $7. It's just like, no thanks.
What were DVD's recent comments on radio?
No, playing it down. Has been all prep. Continues to play it down. Wants to see how he goes this week before making a decision on where he's at in the prep.
Yeah.
I'll tell you where he is, brother. Fucking Gonski. He'll come out and win now, and they'll play this clip. There's a couple of questions I can quickly answer if you like before we round out.
Yep.
Curls, did you see Toowoomba Race 2 Saturday night, Distar 1, Queensland racing at its finest? I did. I think I did roughly $652 on that favourite in the run because it was never, ever winning at any stage. And then the leader ran off the track, carted half the field and gave the $1.50 pop, the Saloon Passage. It wasn't a setup, Christian. It wasn't a reward or anything like that. You just got to remember that they've got to have ability to be able to pull off shit like that.
You've got like a female fan. Curly, you're looking pretty bulked up there, big boy. From Nicole.
Yeah, I know who that is.
Oh,
It's not the car. And his name's not the car. His name's not the car.
that your PT just give me a bit more like assurance.
Odds and evens.
But I was like, oh, I didn't notice, am I? Oh. Curl's thoughts on spending my time in the last at Brizzy. I still haven't nailed it, that race as yet, sorry. That were my questions, yeah.
All right. Best value lay bets. Do we have anything we're throwing out across any of the meetings, anywhere? So I think for me, Windstorm is a value bet. Done. Tick.
I really like Admire Robson as probably as a value bet. I just can't see it not running really well. Maybe it gets bobbed by or just knocked off by one of those numbers, but I think it's a great bet. I think Young Werther's good price at $4. I think, and I really, really hope it wins. There's some nice odds about. I'm just a bit crook, guys. I can't remember what I said, but Cascadia and Best of Days, 50 stars, and Reykjavik maybe in one race. It was
Cantala.
Montesira each way in the Coolmore. There you go. That's every race we did.
One word on Mystic Journey. Yay or nay?
Moral.
Wowee.
We'll win.
Wow. We.
Moral.
Also, if you live in Victoria and you can get out, like Peter has done, I'm telling you to do it. I woke up with a runny nose. The young bloke's got a runny nose, so did the right thing as a Victorian, and went and got myself tested today. I had to go and get myself tested because I was in a place where there was COVID 2 months ago. There was 10 to 15 times the amount of people there today as there was 2 months ago. Scary.
Getting tested.
Yeah. Fucking no good. If you can get out, get out. Never come back.
You're really selling it. Curls, anything for yourself?
I don't want to really be shopping outside of my own department store by talking about Flemington horses, but
Shop at Flemington. It's Derby Day, mate. It's Derby Day. 19% pot, Curly. 19% pot over 6 months. Elite behaviour.
I want to take it a bit.
When you go at 19% pot over 6 months, you know what you do? You shop wherever the fuck you want.
I like the profile and the setup of Admire Robson. Even if you had a bank for Derby Day and you wanted to back something each way, $5 or $6 and $2, 10 a hole. I'll be betting into that. That's the good thing. The thing I like about that horse too, particularly with the trainer, is like they know he knows what he's doing. I know there's other trainers in that race that know what they're doing as well, but it just, when you just keep coming back to the setup, just fucking reeks of a setup for this horse just to explode on the day.
What about Alex Pappas? What does the celebration look like when Young Werther wins by 5 lengths, Dicko? I'll tell you what it looks like. This, either way, is our last preview show for a fair while. I need to spell. Peter needs to spell. Curly and I, when I want to and Pete wants to, we'll jump on the Sydney show. We'll probably continue to do a deep dive sporadically as it's sort of developed into a bit more of a therapy session for us.
For me.
It's actually more self-interest, but I will go missing for a good while. I'll get my work done the rest of the day. But I don't know what sort of mischief I can get up to down here in COVID, but I'll find a way. Have to. Need to.
I'm sure you will.
Well, on that note, it all begins Saturday. So if you want to get on board, we've got 2 specials. You can get, it's basically just all about Cup Week. So typically you'd buy 1 week where we're just doing 8 days for the price of 7 or a bit cheaper. So the Platinum Pack, if you want 8 days of every bet we're sending, it'll cost you $99.99. $100. And
what sort of pot did you give him last week, you guys? Or me as well?
I can't remember. It was 26 for the team last week.
Last Saturday was 26% profit on turnover last Saturday, wasn't it? Or for the last weekend? Sorry, that was.
Oh, it was the week in general. Like it was including, my midweek stuff and
We're going well. Well, we got no luck yesterday at Bendigo, and we still got out of it. We backed High Class Harry in the last, and we backed Think and Fly. Confident. There's probably not going to be a Melbourne Cup preview show because what's important to me is getting everything right for Tuesday, not so much doing a show. If Drew rises from the ashes like the Undertaker, then there'll be a show. But that's anyway. Well, mate, they might. Who knows? Walshy wanted to do a show, but I just can't be fucked.
Good. All right. Well, go and not get COVID, and I'll.
I really got it or I haven't. Imagine if I get it. Imagine if there's another wave. Oh.
How good would that be if the start of the next wave is Jack Dickens?
I'll find a way. Like I'll go up through, literally through the Hothams, some back road to get out of here. Never return.
I think there's a Queensland election this week, and I think Anastasia might win, and I think the Queensland borders will be open. I just want them to be open for Magic Millions weekend.
Will our Rockhampton Rocket be running?
Oh, that horse is paid up for the Magic Millions race series.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I swear. It's paid up for the Magic Millions race series. So I just said to old mate, there's no pressure. Fucking make sure we're winning the Magic Millions Country Cup next year. See, because there's a race for the country trained horses. So anyway.
What was I going to say? Did you say how much it is? Are we allowed to say that?
Nah, it's fine.
We're not syndicating this horse. We have nothing to do with the syndication of this horse, nor do we promote the syndication of this horse. We've just decided to buy into the horse, and this is the trainer and this is the pony, and if you want to get involved, you can.
Yeah, that's all there is.
All right, guys, that's been enough. Thank you for joining us on these live shows. It's been fun doing them. It's been something completely different that arose from a situation that we didn't really have any say in, but in the end, we're probably justified. I think that's probably fair to say.
Well, when they've written an article in Australia's oldest newspaper about the same thing, yes, we were. Before we go, thank you to you two, very loyal, supportive, and just grouse human beings. I appreciate you both.
Yes. All right, let's back some winners.
Yeah, let's get some winners.
Is it